Hey everyone, so I want to do a really quick getting to know the APC exam. Like I said, this is an exam that I really recommend that everyone take, or at least attempt it, try it out, see how you feel about it, because there's a really good chance that even if the AP1 doesn't really work out too well for you, that you will do well on the APC exam. And even if you do well on both exams, that's even better because then you can double the number of credits you get after only taking one course. So, compared to the AP1 of the reasons why I actually think that everyone should take it or attempt it is because compared to the AP1, it is significantly more reasonable. Um, if we actually look at the four AP exams, there's AP Physics 1, AP Physics 2, AP Physics C Mechanics Edition, and AP Physics C Electromagnetism. You can see that for the most part, AP Physics 1 has the worst pass rate, the lowest percentages in pretty much all of them. But compared to the other ones, the other physics APs are significantly higher in passing rate. And a lot of this comes down to the types of questions. I said before that AP Physics 1 has a lot of really tricky conceptual questions, but it turns out AP Physics 2 and the 2C exams aren't like that. The questioning is much more direct, much more straightforward, and people tend to achieve better on them because of this. Now, one reason why I recommend that you consider this is because a lot of colleges they will accept AP1 as credit, but sometimes they might require a higher grade than something like the APC exam. Or one of the things that they tend not to do is they may give you science credit, but they won't give you class credit. So a good example is over at Stony Brook. I got this information for the AP Physics 1. If you get a 3 or above, you get three credits, and basically your science credit towards a science. But that's it. There's nothing else that you get. It doesn't matter if you get a 3, 4, or 5. You get those three credits, and that's it. With the AP Physics C, if you get a 3, they only give you 2 credits and no science aspect. So that's not really as useful. But if you look over here, if you get 4 or a 5, then not only do you get the 3 credits just like the AP Physics 1 and the science credit, but they also allow you to opt out of taking a physics course. This is huge if you're going into a field that requires one physics course. Like if you're going into nursing or some other course that is, science adjacent essentially, there's a good chance that you're going to have to take physics. And if you don't want to take it in college, this is a good way of being able to opt out of it. Another thing that's actually really useful for this is even if you aren't able to opt out of it, maybe you end up with a 3 instead of a 4. One good thing is that you should still take it because it's going to be very similar to the questions that you see if you were to take that intro physics course. Even if you do get a 4 or 5, I actually would recommend that you still take the course. That way, it boosts up your GPA, and you essentially get an easy A in that course. Now, I do recommend that you check your whatever college you're looking into to see if this is something useful. Like I said, this is for Stony Brook. You might find that maybe it doesn't work this way at your college, and it's not as useful to take the C exam. But I always think more credits is better. So just to kind of explain, what is the APC exam? I said before that the AP Physics C is the combination of AP Physics, but adding some calculus. AP Physics 1 is algebra based, so all you need to know are basic algebra trig, being able to move things over, things like that. But Physics C is more calculus based, which means that there are going to be a lot of questions in there that require a calculus understanding. Now, first thing I want to point out is that the amount of calculus in it isn't that much. Most of the questions are still algebra based. I would say about 30% is calculus. You could probably still pass the exam if you get every other non calculus question right. So it's not a huge aspect of the C exam. But even if you don't, if that doesn't, convince you, you don't actually need full calculus for this, because the calculus that they ask in the class is very basic. For the most part, you just need to have gone through pre-calc in order to be able to do the calculus for this. Essentially, you need to know how to take the derivative and an integral of a quadratic, and take a derivative and an integral of a trig function. And again, that's it. I'm almost positive that you're taking derivatives of quadratics and trigs in pre-calc, and I've heard a few people saying antiderivatives and integrals for those that were taking pre-calc. So I'm almost positive that everyone who is taking some sort of calc level course has the knowledge to take the C exam. Even if you don't, I can very quickly run through how to actually answer the calculus questions, because as many probably know, these are very basic parts of it. Uh, Now, another reason why the APC exam is so much better than the AP1, like I said, why a lot of kids tend to get 1 point higher on it compared to the AP1, is that the questions tend to be focused solely on quantitative questions, and there's no tricky questions. If they ask you for the math, they're looking for the math. That's it. There's no tricks in the questions. Everything's laid out on the table. You can easily run through the questions. Another thing is, yeah, like I said, most people tend to score 1 point higher on this compared to the AP1. Now, the distribution is, for the most part, very similar to AP Physics 1. You'll notice that energy has a little bit lower of a percent, and there's a little bit more to rotations. It turns out that when you're taking APC, the three main topics are kinematics, dynamics, and rotational motion, as we'll see a little bit later on. The other ones do get asked, but these are your main focus areas. Now, the layout is actually very, I was going to say similar to the AP one, but it's actually more on like a smaller side. Instead of 50 multiple choice questions, the APC has 35. And the short answers are going to be, there's only 3 questions instead of 5. Because of this, each section is actually only 45 minutes long, so it's going to be 1.5 hours altogether. Now, I do want to point out that some of this information that I'm going to share is a little bit outdated. It's from the 2012 exam. Due to the fact that it's been a while since I've taught AP, I don't have access to all the information from previous years from 2012, and a lot of the information that I'm looking at that's free is only focusing on 2020 and 2021, which are anomaly years. So they might have changed things, but for the most part, this stuff should still hold true. So each multiple choice question has 5 choices. So it's not 4, it's 5 now. But again, the questions are so direct, even adding that fifth one doesn't really matter too much. Uh, every multiple choice question is single correct. There's no, you know, the two correct answers. It's only select one. It should be the best one. Um, Now, one thing to note is that when you're taking this first section, you're only allowed the front page of the reference table, and you're not allowed a calculator. Now, before you start freaking out, the math is very easy to do in your head. It's going to be, multiplying twos and threes and fives, so nothing too crazy. Again, something that you can easily practice. You'll probably get a handle of just as you're going through questions. But I did want to point out that you're not given the full reference table and you're not given a calculator here. The short response, like I said, there's 3 questions, and it's almost always going to be these 3 topics. The first one's kinematics, the second one's forces, the third one's rotation. Almost always. You should be able to see all the short answer questions from previous years, and they all follow this pattern. There might be, energy thrown in or momentum thrown in, but the umbrella concept is one of these 3. So there might be energy within the kinematics, and then the other 2 will be pure. Or maybe there's a little bit of momentum in the rotation, and the other ones will be more pure. Now, I do also want to point out of is that of these three questions, only one of them will actually include calculus. And like I said, it tends to be the basic, take the derivative of this quadratic. There you go. There's your calculus. The other two will be algebra based. So, like, that's why I said that you can easily pass this test if you get every non calculus question right and you don't answer those. Now, this time you will be given the full reference table and you'll have access to a calculator. And I'm almost positive that the calculator will be, again, unwiped. So, you know, keep that in mind. All right, so that's pretty much it. Hopefully, that sheds some light on what to expect when you take an APC exam and how it compares to the AP1. Again, like I said, I highly recommend that you consider this as an option to take this in conjunction with the AP1. I will have so much resources to help you out. I'll be there to help you in extra help. So, think about this and see if this is a good fit for you. If you have any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, good luck and have a great day.